What goes around comes around. When karma comes to get you, it can really sting. And no one teaches the narcissist that lesson as much as a super empath does. And the term super empath is thrown around a lot in the context of cluster B personality disorders and sensitive people, etc. And there's probably not an exact agreed meaning on what that actually is. But I would just say it's like someone who is very sensitive to other people's feelings, very intuitive, and is aware of their own abilities, and is also aware of what narcissism is and the toxicity of the narcissist. And just to be clear, a lot of people who would adhere to the title of super empath, claiming they have some super sensitive abilities and trying to put themselves up on a pedestal because of that. Most or a lot of those people themselves are covert narcissists. But putting those grandiose empaths aside, what you have are sometimes people who are aware of their own intuitive senses, are aware of how, the way they can understand other people and other people's motives. And that in a way they can get under other people's skin when the people are toxic. So what you have is you often have a situation where the narcissist, going about their ordinary business, they're trying to prime up a new target for abuse. They're trying to test the person's boundaries, see what they can get away with. So in due time, they can heavily devalue the person and discard, and basically get their needs met with that person throughout the process. But in the context of a super empath, narcissistic relationship, what you have is, in this case, the target, the person who's quite sensitive, they they would pretty soon catch on to what the narcissist is doing. This person with these very tuned in empathic qualities, they would see through the narcissist bullshit, but oftentimes they wouldn't let the narcissist know that they know who they really are. And a lot of times what you have is somebody might have had a few bad experiences with narcissists in the past, and they realize, okay, enough's enough. This new narcissist in my life, I'm going to teach them a lesson. And basically what the person does is the person plays along, and because narcissists can be very cocky and overconfident, sometimes they think they control people, sometimes they think they can read people better than they actually can. So when they happen across one of these people, which for these purposes we're calling the super empath, when they happen across one of these people, they don't suspect that the person knows the game they're playing, that the person knows that, eventually they'll be heavily devalued, discarded. They kind of pretend they don't know any of that, and they're just sticking around. And sometimes they'll stick around for 2 or 3 reasons. One might be they really want to make sure they're dealing with a narcissist, or they're trying to see the dynamic at play. The second might be they're trying to learn from the experience. They're trying to interact with the narcissist, but using that as an opportunity to create stronger boundaries consciously. And just on that point, it's very dangerous to willingly interact with narcissists, to grow your own boundaries and grow wisdom. But a lot of people who have suffered in the hands of narcissists a lot in their lives, they would voluntarily, or rather, they would willingly and consciously allow themselves to be in that dynamic to learn from it. And third, sometimes the person will say, you know what, this time I'm not going to allow myself to be discarded brutally. Instead, when the narcissist is about to discard me, I'm going to discard them first. So when the narcissist happens across somebody of that personality, of that approach, what you find is the narcissist becomes very settled, very cocky, reaping supply from that, and they're really confident that they'll get the good supply that comes along with the negative devaluation and the discard. But, and this is why they use the term super empath, because they have this drastic, powerful impact on the narcissist where they basically cause the narcissist to collapse, is before the narcissist manages to press the button of the heavy deval, the heavy discard, the unpredictable discard, that's where the super empath, or the person that people call the super empath, would just preempt the narcissist on that move and basically discard the narcissist first, or devalue the narcissist first, or all of a sudden play their hand to show that they really don't care about the narcissist one way or the other. And then the narcissist being taken off the pedestal, they basically don't know how to land on their own 2 feet because they have no grounding, because they don't have the supply anymore. And they don't feel important, they don't feel grandiose anymore because this person all of a sudden is indifferent towards them. And that's how this person that people call the super empath can really land that devastating blow on the narcissist, because they know the narcissist every move, and they allow themselves to stick in that dynamic as their own learning, as their own kind of experience, and maybe it's almost a way of redeeming other narcissists or the narcissists who have abused them in the past. They're thinking, okay, this time this person's trying to destroy me, I'm going to beat them to the punch. And because I'm very sensitive, I'm very attuned to the person, I know their every move, I'm going to beat them at it. And those are the type of people who teach narcissists the most brutal of lessons. These people who are basically being the narcissist. And that's what the super empath is. It is someone who is being narcissistic towards the narcissist, but in a very clever way. But you need to be careful about people who claim to be super empaths or highly empathic, because these people, a lot of people who claim to have super empathic qualities, who brag about it, a lot of them are narcissists. A lot of them feel grandiose because of it, and a lot of them feel entitled to destroy people because they're sensitive enough to be able to do it. Don't forget, narcissists are quite sensitive, intuitive, as are people who are highly empathic. But people who are highly empathic and like to think of it as a form of superpower, a lot of those are actually narcissists who have experienced a lot of pain in their past, have similar qualities to the narcissist. They like to think they're doing it for good, but sometimes they're doing it from a very selfish perspective, and because it's good for them, it can be harmful to others, even people who are not toxic, and they don't really see that. So all I'm saying is, of course, it's very good to have empathic qualities. It's very good to be sensitive towards people, but anyone who kind of brags too much about those qualities, be a little bit careful. But insofar as the narcissist is concerned, it doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's good that they get a taste of their own medicine sometimes. So even if you have like a highly empathic person putting a narcissist in their place, or even if you have another covert narcissist putting another narcissist in their place, because narcissists oftentimes they do meet their match, and they don't realize. Sometimes you have narcissist A who's dealing with another narcissist being narcissist B, and they don't really know that they're dealing with their own kind. So in a way, it's good that narcissists get their karma sometimes. But when people talk about this super empath and how they devastate the narcissist, it's really about that dynamic that I mentioned about the way they understand who the narcissist is and who they're dealing with, but the narcissist doesn't understand that their target is somebody who's very intuitive and sensitive, and who can basically play the same game right back at the narcissist, except that they make sure that the narcissist follows and loses. Anyway, I hope you found that somewhat interesting. And yeah, just what goes around comes around. And if you're a very toxic person, one day you will find your match, and don't be surprised. So have a nice day, everyone. Have a nice Saturday and Sunday. Bye.